loyal companions await. One place stands as their beacon of hope. The Pet Resource Center of Hillsborough County, where you can adopt your very own superhero. Adopt a dog. Find your sidekick and unlock the power of unconditional love. Suit up, show up, and adopt today. For more information, visit hcfl.gov/pets.
Oh man, here comes Arnie again.
Check this out.
What's up, Arnie? What are you doing? You made a mess in my hallway.
Hey Arnie, looks like you could use a hand. Let me help you.
You don't need superpowers to be a hero. Help make Hillsborough bully-free.
Good morning and welcome to the Circuit 13 Advisory Board. Today's date is Thursday, November 21st, 2025, Friday. It's a wheel. And as we start the agenda, I would ask Madam Secretary to commence with the roll call.
Eileen Maslick.
Irene Maslanic here.
Thank you. And Tina Mobley. Judge Kim Brennan, excuse me. Beth Pasick. Here. Thank you. Major Craig Roberts is excused. Lieutenant Polk.
Here.
Commissioner Cameron Cepeda is excused. Chrissy Dorian.
Present.
Conchita Canty-Jones. Dimesha DeSella. Pastor Alfred Johnson. Reverend Dr. Glenn Dames, Jr. Claire Reynolds is present. Marquise Thomas. Sarah Grimmig. Rob Parkinson.
Here.
Kimberly Williams.
Before we go any further, I just want to recognize that Public Defender Lisa McLean is in the room, and she is a official member, voting member. And she's actually sitting in the audience because she's presenting awards today.
Thank you.
And I would also like to add on court administration. I was here for Gina Justice.
I believe we have quorum. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'm also scrolling through for our virtual attendees. I don't see any of our board members.
And I can confirm quorum.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Those are not meetings, so there we go.
No additional members on here.
Okay. All righty. Well, if you would all stand with me and join in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We will now move forward for the adoption of the agenda. Is there a motion to adopt the agenda?
Motion to adopt the agenda.
Second.
Seconded.
Agenda has been adopted. At this point, we will also go with the review of the approval of the minutes. Each of the board members have a copy of the minutes, and if you'd like to take a moment to have an overview, and then we will commence with a motion on the approval of the minutes.
Motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Is there a second?
I'll second. Rob Parkinson.
Madam Secretary, the minutes have been approved.
Thank you.
So our next item on the agenda is award presentations. And I would like the opportunity to have Vice Chair Parkinson provide a brief overview of the awards and how it came about and what we're doing today.
Absolutely, Madam Chair. First, I'd like to recognize our Julianne Holt Service Excellence Award Committee Chair, Ms. Conchita Canty-Jones, who helped wrangle all of its members this year. We appreciate all of your efforts. I would also like to recognize that the award's namesake actually happens to be in the audience today, a retired public defender, Julianne Holt. Apparently she's unemployed now and can visit government meetings at her will. So in summary, the Julianne Holt Service Excellence Award is named after Hillsborough County former public defender who served with distinction from 1993 through 2025. Throughout her career, Ms. Holt developed a reputation for exhibiting absolute positive regard for the youth of Hillsborough County. She also led substantive efforts to serve and protect children in the juvenile justice system, child welfare system, behavioral health system, and the community at large. Ms. Holt and her employees had consistently donated their time, financial support, and talent to various community organizations to achieve community success. A central tenet of Ms. Holt's service was to ensure dignity and respect for all of Hillsborough County's youth. So annually, our board recognizes outstanding individuals working in the juvenile justice system who have exhibited an unwavering commitment to serving vulnerable and at-risk youth and their families with the goal of transforming their lives for the better. So now I'd like to have our current public defender, Lisa McLean, come up and announce our 2 award recipients.
Audience members and Ms. Holt, thank you for joining us this morning. It's my pleasure on behalf of the Circuit Advisory Board to announce the recipients of this year's honorable awards, the Julianne M. Holt Public Service Award and Community Champion Award. We're deeply grateful for the opportunity to recognize individuals whose dedication and service have made a meaningful difference in our community. The Julianne M. Holt Public Service Award this year goes to Chrissy Dorian has dedicated 31 years to Hillsborough County Public Schools, serving as an ESE teacher and ESE specialist, and is currently a DJJ transition specialist. In her role, she works tirelessly to ensure Chrissy is widely known for her unwavering faith and steadfast belief that education is the key to helping youth build successful, productive futures. Her passion, compassion, and determination have made her a source of strength and inspiration for justice-involved youth and their families. ABC Action News once described Chrissy as a real-life Wonder Woman, a title that perfectly captures her spirit and service. Her key initiatives and accomplishments are as follows. As it relates to transportation access, Chrissy recognized that students without reliable, affordable transportation are less likely to succeed in school. The GED fee support, she advocated against financial barriers for youth in adult education programs, ensuring access to GED opportunities. She's focused on clothing resources, understanding that some youth miss school due to a lack of clean clothing. And she has launched Chrissy's Closet at Gary Adult High School in 2015 to meet that essential need. In 2012, Chrissy partnered with community stakeholders, including the Eckerd Family Foundation, Success for Kids and Families, and the Hillsborough County Board of County Commissioners to establish the Juvenile Reentry Education Program, affectionately known as JREP. This initiative provides bus passes and GED vouchers to youth and has served over 1,000 students since its inception. Through her dedication, collaboration, and visionary leadership, Chrissy has transformed systems and changed lives. She is a truly deserving recipient of the Julianne M. Holt Public Service Award. Come on up.
Okay, I'm not good at this. Attention on other people. Things have changed. I had to write things down and I'm wearing readers. Okay, so that's not typically me. I can't explain how full my cup is this morning to receive the Julianne M. Holt Award. I had been calling her Julianne B. Holt for years, so I said it over and over in the car this morning, Julianne M., Julianne M. I just kept saying it over and over again. There's something uniquely special about being recognized by your peers, but there's an entirely different layer of meaning when the award is named after someone you consider your mentor, especially a mentor like Julie Holt, who could sell me a dead battery, and I promise you that somehow she's gonna have me thanking her for the opportunity, for sure. Julie has shaped not only my professional journey, but the way I see service, justice, and people. Her influence is woven into the way I show up every day as an educator. So standing here accepting an award that carries her name feels both surreal and profoundly humbling. I want to thank Commissioner Donna Cameron Cepeda for nominating me. Her belief in my work means more than anybody can ever understand. In education, our victories don't always arrive with spotlights. They show up in quiet moments and small breakthroughs, and in the steady hope that tomorrow we can help someone grow just a little more than today. Thank you for seeing my work, Donna, even when I didn't know you were watching. I'm able to do this work because I serve a district that refuses to give up on any child. I am so supported every day. Hillsborough County Public Schools trust me to make the right decisions and stands firmly in the belief that every student deserves the exact education they need to thrive. And when the options run out, we innovate, we collaborate, and we create new paths forward because our students are worth it. To my colleagues and members of our leadership team who came today, I don't even know what to say. And brought me flowers and hugs and all that stuff. You are the perfect example of the support that surrounds me every day. Your presence here reminds me that the work we do is never done alone, and that together we can make a real difference for our students. Before I conclude, I think I'm going to turn around for this one. Can I? Yeah, okay. Before I conclude, let me turn this way. I need to speak from the heart about the person who stands beside me every single day. Melissa Russo is my warrior. I'm going to get emotional on camera. She is my warrior. She's steadfast, loyal, patient, kind, and truly unshakably firm when our kids need it the most. I look like bad cop, she looks like good cop, but it's definitely the other way around. Her dedication to getting students into school and keeping them there is nothing short of life-changing. Truly, without her, the work we do for our most vulnerable students simply couldn't be possible. I don't tell her often enough, so Melissa, make sure you got this on video. To my friends and family who always show up for me, always show up, you make me better, and I carry your support with me everywhere I go, everywhere I go. Thank you so much for this incredible honor.
Wow. Congratulations again, Chrissy. On to the Julianne M. Holt Community Champion Award, recipient Amanda Thomas. Senior Juvenile Probation Officer Amanda Thomas has served with the Florida Department of Juvenile Justice for 19 years and will celebrate her 20th year this November. Oh, this November. Here we go. Throughout her career, she has demonstrated exceptional professionalism, compassion, and integrity, in earning respect from both colleagues and the youth that she serves. Amanda's commitment to helping others defines her work. She's personally gone above and beyond to meet the needs of youth, providing personal hygiene products, ensuring transportation to GED classes, and supporting them in meaningful, hands-on ways. Her approach is respectful, fair, and firm, maintaining clear boundaries while extending empathy and understanding. Amanda models the highest ethical standards, even under pressure, and contributes daily to a positive and supportive workplace culture. Senior JPO Amanda Thomas truly exemplifies the spirit of a community champion, embodying the dedication and heart that make DJJ employees essential to both the justice system and the broader community. Congratulations, Amanda.
Oh, wow. Well, I didn't have a speech prepared, but it's 20 years now that I've been a juvenile probation officer with the Department of Juvenile Justice. I started in Polk County, Circuit 10, and then coming over here to Circuit 13 has just been amazing. Working with people like Miss Chrissy Dorian. As a matter of fact, she sent me an email at 6:38 a.m. yesterday about one of my lovelies who was denied to remain at a GED program. So her and Miss Melissa do go above and beyond for our youth here, which helps make us, as far as DJJ workers, to stay here. Miss Holt, You do not understand what an honor this is. I'm actually a USF Bull, and I actually interned with the juvenile diversionary programs back when everybody was on Pierce Street and under Miss Laura Karras, and just being able to work with your office and other offices as well, and then coming over here to Circuit 13 as a JPO. And that's just been absolutely amazing because the public defenders under you contacted the probation officers. Like, that was unheard of coming from another circuit, but working with them. And then not only that, but even the state attorney's office. So everybody being in communication, doing what we can to find a way to not to just say keep our kids out of the system, but hold them accountable, but give them the resources that they need. And thank you, whoever nominated me, and thank you to Chief Hammersley and Assistant Chief Egg under their leadership, just giving us the tools that we need and just letting us just do what we can to just be out there for the kids, because it's not a lot of money, but not only that, but we all have to remember that these children are the future leaders. And I see so many familiar faces, Miss Beth, and make sure that we use those LRT meetings. So that's all I can do. I will utilize those meetings so that we can get our kids and our families all the help that they can in the beginning instead of later on in an emergency and crisis. But thank you all so much. Thank you.
We're going to take a couple-minute pause so our two recipients, as well as Ms. McLean and Ms. Holt, can come up for photos, if you could. Okay, let's do just each recipient and then a group recipient. So side there. Okay, and we're looking up and we're smiling, and we got a bunch of them. Awesome. Okay. Now we'll do you with them.
Okay.
Thank you, Amanda.
Thank you.
Okay, and we're looking up and we're smiling. Got the award present. Beautiful. Okay, and now both. Okay, same thing, and we're looking up, and we're smiling, awards are out. Perfect. Thank you, congratulations.
Thank you.
Tell you if there's a hand up.
Madam Secretary, I see that virtually Reverend Dr. Glenn Dames Jr. has joined the meeting. He joined it earlier prior to the presentations.
Thank you. Anyone else, Madam Chair?
Not board members, no.
Thank you.
We're going to go ahead and commence with the agenda as far as standing business. I don't know that we have any unfinished business, Vice Chair.
I don't have any on our list.
And then member updates. Well, here we go. It's Department of Juvenile Justice. For probation updates on behalf of the department, our current census for youth on supervision is at 200. We have 25 youth that are on supervised release. And speaking on behalf of the detention center, we have 47 youth that are currently in secure detention. And we have, now it's currently, 23 youth on electronic monitoring. We have 7 committed youth that are pending placement from Hillsborough County. I would also like to mention that we have, we're accepting statewide nominations for Youth Success Day, and there is a due date by 12/4, and that may be something that when we get to prevention, they may be able to provide an update on that. Likewise, we have our subcommittee where we'll get an update for pre-arrest delinquency citation issuances. But I did want to mention that we have received the law enforcement officer DJJ pocket cards regarding civil citation, and they are being distributed to our law enforcement agencies, Temple Police Department, Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, Temple Terrace Police Department, and Plant City Police Department. We have also provided them at our Juvenile Assessment Center to where it's accessible to law enforcement entities when they present children, just to where they're aware of that. And actually, our juvenile diversion has received the pocket cards too. We'll be continuously sharing those and distributing them, and naturally we'll have resources to provide more as needed. And I would also like to mention the DJJ Restoring Hope Conference is set for December 16th and December 17th. Vice Chair Rob Parkinson is going to be attending, and our circuit was selected to provide a brief overview of our advisory board at a breakout session, and he is going to be presenting that. And the request is to provide an overview of the Julianne M. Holt Award, how it began, et cetera, et cetera. So we're pleased to be able to share that. As far as best practices throughout the state, there are 2 other circuits. I can't recall the other circuits that will be doing their part in a presentation of their best practices from their CAP, just to share information as we go on to the future year of 2026. And let's see, that is all I have at this particular point regarding probation. Does anyone have any questions for me? Okay, thank you very much.
I do have a quick
Yes, sir.
question. Sure. We have a new appointed DJJ secretary. And I assume he's had a chance to wet his feet now and
yes,
start kicking the tires of the organization. Has Tallahassee issued any new directives or edicts that are contrary to our former Secretary Hall?
No, not at this particular point, not at all. The secretary has been making his rounds through all the circuits. I understand that he was here just the other week during the youth recovery operation and stopped by the center during while the operation was going on. I am aware that he will be at the Restoring Hope Conference. And so he is also meeting with all the leadership from DJJ, including myself, as we move forward. I've already had all of us chiefs have had the opportunity to meet Secretary Wash. So we look forward to new changes as they come, and looking at some of the old practices and policies and see if that's, can be tweaked, or, does it still work in moving forward. So we look forward to having this new leadership.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. So then detention. They are not here today, and I understand that Major Britton may not have been able to attend, expecting a new family member arrival. So a blessed event for the family. And I really do not have any updates per se regarding Hillsborough detention, other than regarding the new detention center that is going to be built. It is currently ongoing environmental testing, and there are some architectural issues that they're trying to address, and the department's working through that sort of thing. But that's the only information that I have at this particular point regarding the construction of the new detention center. I will now move to prevention. We have our prevention coordinator joining us today. Any updates?
Good morning. I am the Regional Outreach Coordinator for Circuit 13. My name is Brianne Savalia. And then for our updates, we continue to work towards establishing the All Pro Dad Chapter Initiative in elementary and middle schools, as well as hosting the Facts Your Future Substance Use Awareness Assembly. We also recently, unrolled our Demonstrating Excellence in Reading program. It's an ice cream social for elementary students who have the highest reading scores. And our goal is to host at least one in every circuit. And then we had our One Mentor, One Child Faith and Community Network event that was hosted at the Oaks at Riverview Community Center here in Tampa. And that same night, we had the Gaining Appreciation by Adjusting Perspectives discussion between youth and law enforcement. And then, as previously mentioned, we are preparing for the Restoring Hope Training Summit on December 16th and 17th, and that'll be in Orlando, Florida. And that's all my updates.
Thank you. And updates now from Delinquency Citation.
Good morning, everybody. Judy Royston for the JDP program. For the month of October, for pre-arrest delinquency citations, we processed 84, 25 in the community and 59 in schools. The dominant charge was 32 batteries. Our domestic batteries were down for October. We only had 6, and then our batteries went up to 32. So in October of last year, 2024, we processed 39 referrals. And that's all I have, unless there's some questions.
Director Royston, I have a quick question.
Yes, sir.
I know that Sheriff Chronister is really interested in ramping up the Sheriff's Office DV response, and he's created a DV response unit, and they have been making the rounds, introducing themselves to various nonprofits and governmental agencies to talk about possible collaborations. One of the organizations they were going to reach out to you is to you, and the other one was our Children's Services Department. I know they were going to go over and learn more about our DV respite program. Can you give us a stat? Has that occurred yet?
Well, that's kind of on my subcommittee report agenda.
Okay, then I will defer the ask.
But I could
until
do it now.
It's up to our chair.
We may want to just table it while we dive through the subcommittee reports.
Thank you,
Okay.
Director Royston.
Thank you. And for Hillsborough County Children's Services, Ms. Grimming?
Good morning, everyone, and I will wait to let Judy tell you about that adventure that we're going on with the Sheriff's Office. We currently have 7 youth in residential respite right now. 2 of those are domestic violence youth, 2 of those are domestic violence civil citation, and the rest of those are community youth. We are still navigating our new truancy opportunities for youth in truancy court, and so we had truancy court again this week, and no youth were ordered to shelter. And tonight is our 3rd annual sleep out in an effort to bring more awareness to the community about homelessness in our community. There are going to be some high schoolers, some administrative county staff, and some county commissioners. I don't think any of them are sleeping out this year. I think the department directors are the ones going to be sleeping, but they are going to be staying outside under the pavilion at our facility and having some great guest speakers and some dialogue about youth homelessness in our community and how all of our services partner to impact that. So if you have some free time, you're welcome to stop on by and bring a food donation, because they'll be donating some food to various organizations. That's all I have, unless anyone has any questions.
And then I will now move to general member updates. Any of our board membership that have any updates that they would like to present today? Okay. Now we will address our subcommittee reports, and I'm going to put it back to Ms. Royston regarding our data-driven decision-making pre-arrest delinquency citation issuance updates.
Okay, so we held our data-driven subcommittee on November 6th. The committee reviewed the recommendations from the April 14th, 2024 paper that we worked on. There's no updates or concerns regarding any of the recommendations, but we did discuss, as far as new business, the security the funding, the security at the Jack. So the Board of County Commission approved the funding for security at the Jack. The Sheriff's Office oversaw security, and they were providing the fingerprint live scan machine. And Chief Hammersley, maybe you can update us on when it was going to be delivered. But that is part of the recommendations that we are looking at moving forward once we get the live scan. But as Rob mentioned, on October 30th, we had a tour. Sarah, who's the operations manager of the Children's Services Department, which includes the FINS program along with the DV respite program, did a tour with myself with the HCSO DV unit. She had Sergeant Shute and Corporal Hartford along with 9 officers. I think they were surprised at Children's Services and how it's set up. We also educated them on DV respite. Sarah always does a great tour. If anybody's never been out there, you really have to go see what services they offer and what they do. And I think they were surprised at the number of DV youth that we have coming in, along with the number of repeat youth. We've also set up with Sergeant Shute, if she has a youth come in repeatedly, we can look at what services are being provided. Are they in the system? Are they in a prevention program? But I think it was really educational for them. We discussed how putting them in civil citation is immediate, that they can get services through Children's Services, that they go through counseling. Every DV youth will have counseling. So just trying to break that cycle of parents, it's usually a parenting issue or it's siblings that we're getting the DV youth in on. So I'm just trying to educate parents and get them to break the cycle of coming in for DV. And Sarah, I don't know if you want to add anything about the tour.
No, we had a great turnout. It's great to see law enforcement really putting an emphasis on serving this population of youth.
Okay. And then the last matter I wanted to discuss was moving forward on the utilization of pre-arrest delinquency citations. We had discussed the Pinellas Polk model several times. I think now that the contract's changed, and if we get the live scan machine, the subcommittee suggested that we move forward with maybe subject matter experts at the Juvenile Assessment Center or DJJ, putting together some sort of procedures on how it would look if civil citation youth were coming in the door. Chief Ward suggested that we put together the procedures and then we could then disseminate them to the stakeholders to have approval, concerns, issues, comments. So I think we're stuck and we need to move forward. And I don't know if we want to put it for a vote for the board, but I do think we need to start with developing procedures.
And if I may, so currently our live scan installation, setup, FDLE access, transition from the Sheriff's Department over to the Department of Juvenile Justice is ongoing. We are hoping that the installer for this equipment will be able to do it the first week of December. Then we're going to have training. We're going to work through some hiccups naturally. We're going to go through the system as far as what the department feels we as an agency and our contractor provider, Jack, will need to do in regards to fingerprinting and booking. So we're still in it hasn't been started. Just short and sweet. It has not started yet. But as I say, get all the wheels in motion and we're ready to go, then naturally, of course, there's going to be a standard operating procedure, which of course we would rely heavily upon the leadership of the Juvenile Assessment Center acts to ensure that there is a formatting that we can use as practical and useful as far as when we're addressing youth pre-arrest delinquency citations.
May I add a couple things?
Sure. There's a lot of folks here that weren't involved in this going back to 1993, and I just wanted to give some historical context. So back in 1993, a number of local stakeholders and HRS/DCF/DJJ, right around that time is when we had the split off and the organization broke into multiple organizations. We realized that we were having some challenges with the volume of kids going into detention. And the stakeholders came up with a model, the juvenile assessment model, that could expedite and efficiently process those youth, but also offer additional opportunities for youth to be diverted. And then also the thought was that wraparound services, mental health, substance abuse, STD screenings could be added to that program. In the end, the partners agreed to move forward with this JAC model. Again, the key partners were the Sheriff's Office, DCF, HRS, DJJ, whatever we're calling it at the time, and the Agency for Community Treatment Services. The model ended up working really, really well, and it was subsequently written into Chapter 985 as a mandate across the state. After that happened, this is circa 95, 96, there was actually some funding to help other communities get the models up and running. The Sheriff's Office was providing all the security services there for close to 30 years. Last few years, they've stepped that down from sworn deputies running security to private security companies under contract with the Sheriff's Office. Sheriff Chronister felt for the efficient administration of the juvenile justice system, since the county was already funding our portion of the juvenile detention center, our 50% share, that it might be an efficient opportunity to shift the direct funding to the Board of County Commissioners. And he agreed to remove the funding from his budget and put it back with the Board of County Commissioners. The board approved that contract last month. For the near term, we're continuing with the private security company that was already trained and received supervision from the Sheriff's Office. It wasn't a clean break, so the Sheriff's Office is providing some continuing support as this new amended model is implemented. I think things are going fairly smooth, but we do have some warts that we realized, like for instance, the Sheriff's Office bought the system. The Sheriff's Office data people had some limitations in what they could and couldn't do because of programming. DJJ doesn't have some of those limitations, so it really creates some opportunities for us to look at the Pinellas model and look at the Polk model, where they're able to basically reevaluate kids at the JAC and offer civil citation. So I think we need to wait at least a couple months until everything is fully implemented at the JAC and we have a process and the hardware, the DJJ provided hardware is in. But I think it would be apropos to start putting together what we want to do and then present it. Eventually, we're going to have to present this to the State Attorney's Office, Sheriff's Office, TBD, et cetera, the core stakeholders to get their blessing. You know, the major barrier prior to this was the limitations of the Sheriff's Office data system, and we're not going to have those limitations anymore. So I think there'll be strong interest in moving forward on it. And again, looking at what they've done in Polk and Pinellas, they were able to greatly increase the number of civil citations using this model. So I have high hopes for it. We've had some turnover in some of our law enforcement agencies, so our numbers have kind of fluctuated back and forth. But I think we're getting to a point where we've got some people in that are kind of relearning the system and looking at ways to optimize it and create efficiencies. So we need to do it, but I think we should wait at least a couple months until the new hardware is in and working properly.
I concur with you, Vice Chair.
Okay, sounds good. That's all I have, unless anybody has any questions. Thank you.
Ms. Canty Jones?
Yes, hi. I know I missed the committee. It was a conflict in my schedule. So are you saying that the data reflected that the charges was mainly with DV, domestic violence, when you look at the overall highest, when you were looking at the data, as far as charges are concerned? The citations, I'm sorry.
So for pre-arrest delinquency citations for this month, the data is regular battery, not DV battery.
Okay.
Yeah, that was our high number. I think I said 32 for batteries coming in. But usually DV battery is higher We only had 6 this past month, and usually we run a lot higher than that.
Okay. And the reason I asked, I actually sit on the Circuit 6 board as well, and their data was reflecting that many of the youth were being arrested or citation or things like that around the social media. And it was based on the fact that they were unaware of what will consist of a charge or anything that will cause them to be kind of filtered into the system. So we're creating this kind of plan that we're going into the schools because the work that I do with workforce, we're already in the schools, and we are connecting it with some of the rollout we're doing through Avid. So I'm just curious to maybe, just as a recommendation, I'm wondering, should we heighten the awareness? Like, do the youth know that if I don't know what it is, but I'm just going to use as an example, if I push my mom or hit my sibling, that is considered, getting into that realm. I'm just wondering, is it an awareness issue within the community? I don't know.
I think Sarah might go out and make them aware. When my staff go out, they definitely educate, they go out to the schools and definitely educate kids on charges. I don't know if there's an actual education campaign or I can't answer that question.
Okay, and just final thing, and what we were doing is not going in with the specific topic, because we do work around, workforce, career navigation, career aspiration. So we tied it into the social media into how it affects you as far as employment, your resume and things as you build. So I was just curious to see how can we tie it into something else in order to make it exciting for the youth in that space, but at the same time, you're educating them on something that's affecting community. So just a recommendation or consideration.
So if I can add, when I said these numbers, these were for misdemeanor charges.
Okay.
When you talk about written threat on two-way communication device, that's felonies. So they fall into my program, but they're in another category. As far as that charge, numerous charges come in our door for kids unaware of picking up the phone and calling in a bomb threat, putting on a note, I'm gonna shoot up the school. We have a procedure in my office that we get with Chrissy Dorian and Melissa Russo to look at school. They have a school threat committee, and I think Lieutenant Polk is on it. So any charges that come into my office, if a youth doesn't have any priors, we get with them on what the threat assessment is, and then we offer our program to keep the youth out of the system and give them a diversion program. Kids are not aware of those charges. I think they come in and they say, oh, I was only joking, or I was angry at my teacher. And Lieutenant Polk and Chrissy can certainly talk more about that and the education process that they have in the school system. I'm sure they have something in place to educate kids on, if you do this, it is serious. And parents get upset because their child's picture is put on the HTSO arrest site. And I can't tell you how many times they're so upset that this is occurring, but they don't realize how disruptive it is to the school system, how scary it is to the other children in the schools. And as part of our youth that come in, we go over a safety plan. We want to make sure if there's any guns in the home, what are you doing to lock up your guns? We send them to educational classes, and they go through our program, any counseling that's deemed necessary. Most all of our youth are, as part of their sanctions, ordered into some sort of counseling if they're not in it already. So, but I don't want to speak for the schools on what they do as part of education for those kind of charges.
Thank you.
I can tell you that SROs meet with kids all the time on this. They actually have to do so many class presentations during the school year. So they're popping in those classrooms, and threats are probably one of our major threats, bullying, all the stuff, vaping. There are all kinds of categories that that are what she's dealing with a lot of times with the vaping and the minor charges and stuff like that. And then also the school system educates the folks too, like when we're going over Fortify Florida, which is how they can report the threats on that. Kids are educated on how to use it and what it's used for. Now, they don't always use it properly, but that is what, that's all given to every student, and Chrissy may have more to add on that.
Conchita, I just wanted to mention too, when you talk about what constitute the charge, some of it's the discretion of the law enforcement agency when they get there. What's happened, battery, touch, or strike is battery, touch, or strike. Domestic violence is because it happened with the family. And so a lot of times what happens is why we've been speaking so intentionally with law enforcement about the civil citation is because if there's an opportunity for them to get that citation, we want them to go down that path versus going to detention. Something specific, though, I will tell you, sitting in detention hearings every day, we're seeing multiple kids with those online charges, and the parents don't understand. And so we can educate the children, but I have heard multiple judges at multiple levels discussing with parents the severity of these charges, and they're not letting kids go. Kids are not being sent home on any sort of supervised release for this. They are staying in detention, and I think that that's what parents really just don't understand. And so if we talk about education in the schools, it's got to go home so that parents really understand the supervision is necessary for their children. And they can't just write in notebooks like, I want to kill, and list people they want to kill. There is a consequence for that. And so it's really become an issue in our community. We're just not tolerating it anymore. And so I appreciate the efforts in that circuit, but it is something that we talk about. We also partner with the Springs for domestic violence, and I think it's super important that they're the experts in our community that work with families as a whole and youth. So they provide programming on our site weekly for healthy relationships, because that a lot of times, as you mentioned earlier, like the shove of mom is what gets the child with us. And it could be the first time a child has put hands on their mom, but having that support that's the expert is talking to these kids about positive peer relationships and responding when they're getting to that point is really important for us, which we started doing when we started seeing a lot more kids coming in with DV. How can we initiate this conversation with our community partners so that they're getting that education, and if the family needs it, they can get it from that same resource.
So very good point. The circuit is actually going to be working with the parents as well. Our first initiative is that we're doing a focus group in St. Pete through Urban League. We have a battery of questions that we'll ask the youth, which is around your knowledge base, what do you know about it, those type of things, and we're going to do the same thing with the parents. And then we kind of did our first run that I created like a curriculum that's embedded in the work, to your point. So what we did discover is what you just said. A lot of times the parent is unaware around social media. So some of the questions, how do you monitor your child's phone? Like for me as a parent, my daughter, after 9 o'clock, the whole time she was in high school, she had to leave it downstairs, because students are on their phones and things like that. So it was a lot of reasons behind that. But to your point, we are looking at the family, the parent as well, as part of the community. So I just wanted to share what type of work we're doing at the Circuit 6 by using data and how we are supporting the youth and the parent as well, and increasing the awareness around, because I do recognize that a lot of times the parent is unaware and the youth is unaware when they're acting out certain things in a household. Even though we may look at it like, oh my God, this is horrible, it could be the culture of the household and not knowing that culture then moves into another direction.
Couple things to add. Director Royston actually has some pamphlets that were created by the county's Anti-Bullying Advisory Committee that has some information for family and parents on how to monitor internet access, how to check their kids' access. There's some links on there as well. Could you give her one of those? And I can make sure you have a supply at our next meeting as well. There's also stickers with a QR code that will link them to a website that's run by the ABAC where parents can go that prefer electronic reading. But take a look at that. Just give me a call and we can make sure that my staff provide you with a supply of those. Secondly, I wanted to remind everyone that our DV respite program, which is run by Director Royston. When we came up with the MOU for that, we had some pushback from the law enforcement side of the House, and the decision was made to exclude intimate partner violence. So that is a category of crime that can't go into the DV respite program through that MOU. So just so you know that that's there, we continue to operationalize that. But to your point, again, Director Royston, when we started the program, her and our former chair made an effort to reach out to all the law enforcement agencies, train them on this new MOU that their bosses signed off on so that they understand the scope and nature of it. And obviously we've had some we've had some retirements and promotions, so it's a constant effort needing to continue to spread that message. And I know that me personally, I've had some communication with the Sheriff's Office as they've created their new DV unit, helping them understand not only the resources that we have through the DV respite program and linking them up to those resources and go out and kind of kick the tires and feel a level of comfort that if they refer a kid over there, that it's in their mind, it's not this, they're getting comprehensive wraparound services when they go to that program. However, they've also encountered issues where they're going out to homes where it doesn't meet the threshold of domestic violence, but if something isn't done, if wraparound services are not provided, they know tomorrow or next week they're going to be out there again and it will reach that threshold. And that's where programs like SINSFINS and Bay Area Youth Services Functional Family Therapy and all those other prevention type services can be deployed. So we're going through that process again of helping these LEOs that are new to DV, to core DV services, to know that there's these prevention services out there and they can refer them out as well.
If I could just add, I'm sorry to just keep going, but on the school threat issue, I wanted to say not on the prevention level, but once they're arrested and they appear at detentions, we've worked out a circuit system for evaluating the cases and making sure that we're getting those kids out of detention as quickly as possible if it's appropriate. So I'm not in the prevention game, obviously. I'm the chief of juvenile for the state attorney's office. But what we do is we work with the schools, we work with our law enforcement partners to make sure that we are making sure that the community is safe if we release those kids. Because statistically, the number of kids who are being arrested on those kinds of charges don't have a prior history. And so we want to make sure that we're keeping them out of the detention center as quickly as possible, and we're really able to do that with our law enforcement and school partners, and that's just something to pass on to other counties. It takes a team, it absolutely does, to get those kids the services they need and then also to get them back home with those services. And so that's something that we've worked really hard as a circuit to do, and it's not, you can't just do one step, we have to do all the way through, and that's what we work really hard on to finish and keep those kids out. And we're very successful with those cases. And so I guess I should say, I want to commend everyone for doing that, but we get a lot of help from law enforcement really on that. And school, of course, the school system helps us too. But we keep I think we're doing a good job on that as well.
No, I would agree 100% with you. And just, we want to recognize State Attorney Lopez, because she did the research, you did the research, and she did the research, and it's an evidence-based practice. We know that, kids, this is their first time offense, that they're very unlikely to reoffend if and when they have appropriate wraparound services when they're released. And that's what you guys are doing. You're ensuring that when these kids are released, they're not learning new behaviors in detention, which is what we don't want them to do. There's a lot of transference and countertransference that happens when they're actually in detention. But when they're released, they have comprehensive wraparound services, and that's the key to prevention. Thank you.
Thank you all. Any more commentary? Well, now we're going to go ahead and move to our subcommittee on our school achievement and our chair, Chrissy Dorian, for updates.
Thank you, Chief Hammersley. So I'm going to take a bunch of information, I'm just going to condense it. It's just going to be the easiest way to do this, is that if we're going to conduct a data-driven work on student achievement, we have to talk about enrollment first. We have to start at square one, okay? Because if the students aren't in school, they can't achieve. So what we're doing, I'm going to ask Ryan, did you brought those, did you bring the? I brought some data. Not to put you on the spot. We're going to talk about where we are today, and basically Today, we are at 94% enrollment, which is incredible, and let me kind of explain that. There's 186 students right now on supervision in Circuit 13, okay, 186. So 166 of them are on probation, 14 of them are on conditional release, and 6 of them are on PCP, which means post-commitment probation. Out of all of those 186, there's only 11 that are not enrolled, 11. And there are valid reasons on 5, okay? That's pretty good. It's an all-time high, and you got some good stuff coming. We broke it down by age. We looked at that data, because if we're going to be data-driven, that's what's going to drive this committee. It probably is good for you to say it now, right? Yeah.
Sure. Okay. So we received our updated quarterly data from probation headquarters, DJJ, on school enrollment for supervision youth, which supervision youth is probation, conditional release, and PCP. And in Circuit 13, we were at 95%, which was good for third in the state. So we've kind of rapidly moved up through the circuit, so we're doing pretty well.
So here's where we see the committee going. First of all, Rob Parkinson had an excellent idea that DJJ provide regular reports on those kids that aren't enrolled to my department. Okay, we're already working with the kids. We already know that they're memorized in our heads. But to see the list and then write the reasons and then see who doesn't have a reason, we already started that process immediately this month. So thank you for sending me that report, Ryan. And then what we're going to do is, because when we talk about enrollment and the attendance rate, the enrollment rate, it's looking in JGIS and seeing what school the JPO has entered that student is at, okay? So that is one way of looking at it. So what we want to do is we want to take it to that next level for 2026 and make it a goal that we are going to match what's in JGIS with what's in Focus, our student information system, okay? Now, I'm constantly checking them myself, but we're gonna have, our committee is gonna formally look at, is it matching? We decided that our date is gonna be September 15th of every year. We decided that DJJ is gonna pull what the enrollment was September 15th of 23, September 15th of 24, and September 15th of 25. We're gonna look at that data, our next subcommittee meeting, and then we're gonna set our 2026 goal. That's gonna compare our enrollment, like I said, and then take it up a notch. I do know that we had a big recommendation to have someone from foster care on the team, because our hardest kids to get enrolled are our foster care involved students because of a lack of information. And not knowing if they were at a center or at a traditional school, and it's just, it's taking too much time. So I think we were gonna ask if anybody wanted to be on the subcommittee. That would be amazing. And it's gonna be helpful. We're gonna come up with a system to get those kids enrolled faster and the most appropriate fast. And then I think that's it. Did I forget anything?
No, I don't believe so, but I was going to mention this at the end of our subcommittee reports, that it is a requirement of each and every board member to participate in a subcommittee. So at this point, when we're done with your presentation, we're going to need to update any members that would like to participate in the 2 current subcommittees, the data-driven decision-making, pre-arrest delinquency citation, and school achievement. And on a side note, that we're going to put a pause on the Julian M. Holt Awards Subcommittee moving forward. But I want you to, let's go back to the subcommittee on the student achievement.
I think I covered everything. I think I covered everything.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think
that's it.
so. We had an opportunity to attend as ex facto.
So I guess the first issue of order is there any questions about the chair's report or comments?
I have a question. When you include the enrollment, does that include those students that are going into the GED program, or only the students that are going into the traditional enrollment?
Great question. It includes the GED students, for sure.
And I just wanted to express my appreciation to Chrissy for all the work that she's done on this. Folks don't realize that she's gotten down to the granular details, every single youth by name, to determine what their educational status is. And to come up with a 95 percentage point, I mean, that means we got about 10 kids left we got to capture, right? Fluctuates up and down, but 5? Are we close to 200 total, though?
Oh, are we close to 200 as far as the kids that are enrolled?
Yeah.
We only have
The
5.
total line on that.
We have 5 of the 11 that are not in school.
Okay, so 5 kids. So after all of her work, we've titrated that down to 5 kids. So we're at the point now where we're going to send JPO Amanda Johnson to get them in an educational opportunity if we have to. So.
And I did want to clarify the data that we received on that 186 youth, that was from November 5th. So we've had an uptick in youth that have been placed on probation since then.
So that was the end that I was using in the approximate 10.
Got it.
10
And
kids.
I don't want to ever forget about the students on intake, okay, or the students in diversion, all of those students have to be in school too, and that's not captured on here, but we're doing a pretty darn good job on that too.
Well, and you also have, how many business days is it to reach out to those kids and grab them?
72 hours.
Okay, so sometimes when they show up on your list doesn't capture them being included until that 72 hours late. And some of that was the dissonance we had in our data points, which we've now resolved. So, but absolutely incredible. We've taken a problem that we thought was a couple hundred and we titrated it down to 5. That is some solid problem solving. So, thank you.
So, Rob, this is not about DJJ youth, but I know the truancy laws have changed for truant kids, and you had mentioned Judge Brennan was on the roster to be here. I handle truancy court, and I know it's been a lot more duties for Hillsborough County school system with the new truancy laws, and how they now have to, if youth are truant, and have a contempt charge, they have to have an attorney. They can't go into shelter for more than 5 days on the first contempt, and then they now have to roll over if they're still not going to school into since Finn's youth or go before Children's Services Case Staffing Committee. So it might be, I don't know if Sarah or Heather can update everyone on how it's going to affect them. But I know the schools are under pressure to now report on enrollment, and any youth that misses 15 days in a 90-day period is supposed to have some sort of action. So just thought I'd mention it. I know it's not in Chrissy's youth that she's handling, but it is going to be additional duties on the school system.
Absolutely, and Judge Brennan is the new primary appointee to this committee with you as the backup. I know, obviously, the judge isn't here. They're going through the process of assimilating and incorporating the statutory changes. I was concerned that it's going to create some unintended consequences as time goes on, but we'll have to wait and see how it's adopted here and utilized. And, perhaps the judge will be able to opine better on it. And you're dealing with it now. What are you seeing?
I'm glad you brought that up, because I am getting calls from principals saying that they received a court order that the student has to be enrolled within 72 hours, and we don't have the information that we need to get them enrolled. And so the principals they have questions, and so I do need to give them some answers. I was not able to answer their question with what happens if we don't have the educational records that we need in order to get them enrolled and all the things that we need.
And I think it's important that as Judge Brennan is problem solving on this, that Chrissy's involved in the problem solving because she is that critical link as we're making sure that there's better communication to ensure it doesn't get to that level.
So I'll just mention, Amber Limerick's been a huge support in the school systems, navigating with the school social workers on how we're going to navigate this. There is a lot of question about this representation for students if they are in contempt once they've received an order. It's been a little bit tricky at this point. And I know that there's confusion at multiple levels on what that's going to look like. It is going to be an administrative lift for the school system because the tracking has changed. What's happening post a kid who's in contempt is that now they're having to go to the case staffing committee, which is a 7-day letter that's filed by the school system or a parent saying that they need additional supports, to identify if the child at that time could potentially qualify to be SINS-FINS court ordered, which a kid could be ordered through services through their 17th or 18th birthday, so until they're 17, and tracked through SINS-FINS, which is going to make that system a little bit more challenging. So we haven't seen that yet because this is still very new. We haven't seen those youth, that uptick in case staffings. But I do anticipate that in the spring, we're going to start seeing some upticks in that. But what we have seen is kids are not being ordered to shelter. They're going to court and they're being told they need to go to school or re-enrolled in school, or that they need to get representation for their family. So that's kind of, truancy court's once a month. So it's taking a little bit more time for it to catch up at this point. But Amber has been a tremendous support in navigating with our teams on what is going to happen next. And I think we just have to wait and see how the judge really kind of carries this through the system for us.
And I think the DJJ attorney, Jennifer Lima Smith, is doing training at the Restoring Hope Conference, and she's right back there. Maybe she could speak about it.
And I'll have to catch her session.
And is that 15 days consecutively, or is it just 15 days for a semester when you were saying the truancy? Do you know?
I believe it's within 90 days.
It's definitely something we're going to have to track and monitor. And if it has too much of a negative effect longitudinally, it might be apropos to talk to Secretary Walsh or our local legislative delegation and let them know the totality of the circumstances.
Do we know if it's connected to like funding, like food stamps, like if the child is not attending disability check, SSI, do we know any of that? Like if the child is not in school, is it connected to any of that of losing?
You know, I think the intentional goal was to get kids into school, which is laudable. I just think the longitudinal penalties are going to have some unintended consequences down the road. Jennifer, do you have anything to add to that? I don't right now. I know other circuits I've heard are kind of meandering through this as well and feeling their way. Is that pretty much consistent from what you're hearing?
The new law actually took effect July 1st. I'll just very quickly. The new law did take effect July 1st of this year. Our chief of staff, Heather DiGiacomo, sent letters to all the stakeholders. If you all do not have any of those letters, let me know or let our chief know, and I'm happy to send them out. I do know that Judge Brennan did receive a copy of that letter as well. And we are training throughout the state. The attorneys for the General Counsel's Office for the Department of Juvenile Justice have been training provider staff throughout the state. Okay.
I just wanted to add too, I've spoken to Judge Brennan about this, and I wouldn't, want to put any words in her mouth, but she's proceeding with extreme caution. She doesn't want to do anything quickly or drastically. She wants to be very careful, and so that's everything she's discussed with me. And I, of course, the state attorney's office has nothing to do with truancy. We're not getting involved, respectfully. But I told her conversations with me have been that she is going to proceed with extreme caution. So I wouldn't expect drastic changes from her. She's going to try to follow the law as best she can, but she's also going to always be doing what's best for the child and in a very cautious and careful way.
And do we know, has this been manualized in any administrative code yet, or a concrete operational policy or procedure?
I'm not aware of it at this time. It seems like there's a lot of questions. That's the best way to put it, and not a lot of clear answers.
Okay, and Ms. Lima Smith, if you could send that to Chair, and we'll just make sure all the members have it when the minutes go out, just so we're all up to speed and what's coming out of tally, that would be appreciated.
Any further discussion on student achievement? We'll move forward as far as, it's not on here, subcommittee reports, but we did want to commend our subcommittee on the Service Excellence Award and our chair for taking on that task. Conchita, excellent work, and all the members of that committee. What we had discussed today is putting a pause on it as far as
getting time mid-2026.
So, yeah, I don't want to use a term, put a pause on it, but it's an ad hoc committee. It's one of the best parts about being that committee chair is that it doesn't have to meet throughout the year. It begins to meet around April, May to update the forums and then get the word out about the award program. So you get time off until April, May, and then we will bring the issue back to the full cap. And then you can choose to continue to serve as chair or just as a member, and then get the other members as well to commit to it and get that ball rolling. So thank you again. You did an absolute incredible job. I know that one is a committee that's kind of like herding cats, and it's a lot about advertising and getting the word out to all the stakeholder organizations and agencies. And you did an excellent job. And again, we had 2 really awesome recipients this year. So that's why we have that award program. So thank you.
You are very welcome, and I didn't get a chance to say, I worked with Chrissy, and it was just, when I saw her name came up, it was just a great honor that as a committee that we selected her. And you're absolutely correct, and also Amanda, I haven't met her, but today I did, and it was just a joy just to read and understand the work that people go beyond, the call of duty. So it is just such an honor. So I look forward to hearing more about it and how we're going to proceed with that. So thank you.
No, I agree with you wholeheartedly. And you've certainly leveled up the application process. We're getting much more comprehensive information on the applicants. In fact, Commissioner Cameron Cepeda's nomination actually had links to videos and news articles, and Ms. Doran, we actually had a video queued up in case they wanted to play it for you of a ABC Action News bit that you did. You weren't wearing glasses at the time, so I imagine it was. And then, again, we know what's going on in the juvenile justice system from our own individual perspectives. It's one of the reasons that DJJ wants everyone from every aspect of the system, whether it's prevention, whether it's detention, whether it's elected officials. So we have a 360-degree view of the juvenile justice system. But we also often take for granted what's going on in the trenches. And, I'll use Amanda's award as an example. Our JPOs are out there every day in the trenches, making sure these kids are staying safe, making sure the community is staying safe, making sure these kids have access to the basic necessities of life. And we forget about that. And they're there doing it each and every day. And I think about somebody like Amanda Thomas, who she's doing it when we're home eating dinner with our family. She's out there dragging kids to GED classes and making sure that they have personal care items from the Walmart. Those folks need to continue to be recognized. And not only that, but Amanda brought up some issues today during her speech. She has been in the system for 20 years. She started as an intern with the Public Defender's Office internship program. She has been a stakeholder that we have known and trusted in various roles. And again, those stakeholders we often take for granted. And that's why Ms. Canty-Jones's work is so important, that we know that we appreciate them. DJJ, DCF, all those folks are there making sure our kids are safe. So,
Thank you, Vice Chair. Well, as we move forward, as I previously mentioned, membership is required at least one of the subcommittees I put forth for consideration going into 2026, so we can get as many members as possible to participate on any one of the committees.
and if I'm not mistaken, we've gotten permission for those subcommittees to be virtual, correct?
Yes, those are virtually. Traditionally, they are virtually.
That certainly makes it easier for people to participate.
Absolutely. As we move into new business, I did need to mention that we are actively seeking a new youth representative as a board member. Our prior youth representative, Demisha Dozala, was sent a notification by myself and attempted phone calls, emails with her as far as if you miss 4 consecutive board meetings that you are no longer eligible to participate as a board member. So as such, we are now seeking a youth representative. I have had communication with Davia Labors from PACE, School for Girls, and she may have a prospective young lady that would like to participate, but I want to put that out there, make the public statement. To be a youth representative, it means that you are not above the age of 21 and that you have knowledge of the juvenile justice system. It doesn't say have had involvement, but have knowledge of the juvenile justice system. So any prospective candidates, again, must not be above the age of 21. There's no limits on the lower age, but they must be mature enough to be able to participate. And now that we are doing this as a hybrid meeting, this presents an opportunity for the youth to participate virtually. So I want to share that with all.
And if one of our members could reach, because we have PACE that's already been reached out to, if any of our members are currently working with AMI, if they can let them know as well, because it's kind of the same population on the boys' side. And then also, as a reminder, I know Chair Rocky Brancato would provide letters to them for Bright Futures participation, so they can get Bright Futures volunteer hours, and we can certainly do that again.
Who do we send a name to if we have someone? Just send it to you?
Yes, you
Okay.
can include my chair and Vice Chair Parkinson.
Okay, thank you.
We have a question in the back.
Question in the back, yes.
Is it a one-year commitment generally for that role, or longer?
If we could get 1-year commitment, that would
We're
be
okay with
awesome.
1 year.
One of that position in particular, just because they're aging out of various systems, they're going on to other things, so it's a hard issue to track them and keep them involved. And, you know, we can't fault them for going off to college. That's what we want. That's what we need. Those are good things. It just creates a challenge for the operation of this board. So if we could get 1 year of commitment, that would be awesome.
Yes.
So I know one of the challenges in the past has been here having a student that's coming in person. Are they able to participate virtually? Do they have to be here in person? Because, you know, especially with any of our high school students.
Now that we are doing a hybrid model, they can attend virtually, but it is a recommendation from myself, the chief, and the vice chair that a multitude of our board members do participate in person for the sake of maintaining quorum. It's really what it's about. So, for example, if we want to vote, it's 11:18 today. If we've lost some of our folks virtually that are board members, and it may make the difference between having quorum to vote and or not at all. But yes, of course, and any one of you may decide, or something comes up to where you have to attend virtually, that's the option that is here as the caveat.
No, absolutely, and I don't want to, reflect negatively on virtual participation, but being here in person does tend to yield better results, and it also provides for horizontal communication with our community members and nonprofits and stakeholders that are in the audience. We're able to get a lot of work done with those stakeholders that aren't members after the meeting, so in person if you can, virtual if you have to.
Well, as we're going through our new business, we have not developed innovation zones at this particular juncture. I don't know that, I'm going to move on from that unless you have anything to add on that, Mr. Parkinson.
So we've discussed the issue at several past meetings in terms of what an innovation zone is. It doesn't have to be a geographic area. It could be a specific program. It could be a specific problem that we're solving. We've talked about the issue of enhancing our civil citation issuance here in our county as our innovation zones. We haven't gotten consensus yet as a group. I'm hoping now that the law is on the books, that when we go to Restoring Hope, we'll be able to do some communicating with other jurisdictions and see what they're doing. Absolutely. And possibly bring that back and replicate it here. I've voiced my preferences in the past, but I don't think we have a majority yet in where we want to move in that direction. But I'll be able to report back. I think that's one of the edicts I got from Tallahassee for being in attendance, is bringing back and conveying the subject matter of the conference and training. Is that not correct? So I'll have to provide a 20,000-foot overview, but I'm going to be focusing on the things that we need here.
I will be there as well on the workforce side, but is it, just as a recommendation, is it maybe recommend to start a subcommittee on innovation zone? So then you have a group of people kind of throwing out ideas and that out of the box type of thing. Because I think of being on this committee, it's a lot of things I think like outside of the box that may fit within the work that we're doing. Because I love the fact that you're saying that it doesn't necessarily, it can be solving a problem that is supporting youth. So I wonder if we can consider that. I don't know if that's a thing or not as a subcommittee.
Robert's Rules of Order says we can, if our chair wants to create a subcommittee on that issue. I know that chairing a committee is a lot of work and a lot of effort, and you've had some experience in that over the last year. But that would be an effective and efficient way to manage that process, especially in the early stages as we're figuring out what our innovation zone is. Pulling the data together will most likely involve working with DJJ Tallahassee's data people to provide the data and the business case for that innovation zone, and then presenting it and getting the full support of this CAB. But that's certainly doable. Do you have?
I'm interested in chairing, if we don't have to decide now, but just maybe open up for discussion, because that is an area of my wheelhouse, of creativity. So I would love to be part of that. And then especially going to different conferences, state, you learn so many creative things that can maybe be of support. So interested.
Okay, so would you like to issue an official motion to create a subcommittee to work on developing our Circuit 13 Innovation Zone and volunteer to chair it?
Yes, I would like to place a motion to create a innovation zone subcommittee.
I second it. I got there first, Irene messaged me. And I'll join that committee.
Oh, yay.
I'm also creative and can make things happen.
Oh, wow. I love creative people. We're going to be in trouble then. We're going to be asking them to do so many things. They're going to.
Rob, can I just make a point that maybe at our next meeting we revisit what the innovation zone criteria is?
Yeah.
It's because we do have new members and it's been a little while. And maybe that be after Restoring Hope. So maybe you can bring back some things that other people are doing and then people can decide if they want to join that committee maybe at that point.
Yeah. And I love the idea, like you said, coming up with a summary of what the committee is about. So I agree.
So yes and yes, but former Commissioner Miller is ringing my ears right now. We have a point of order. We have an item on the table.
Not following the
No, it's not your fault. We have a first, a second, so we need to vote on that.
If I may, the Reverend Dr. Glenn Dames has a comment to make.
Oh, I would just say that I concur that, we should, I think Conchita would be excellent for that position, but I think we should definitely make sure that all our members are aware of what that innovation committee is and what it entails, so they may have an opportunity to join if they so desire.
Thank you, sir.
So back to the original question.
Let's have a vote.
Yep.
Vote on yes from full.
Second vote now? Yeah. Okay. So we're going to put it up for vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
Let the record reflect that Dr. Reverend Glenn Dames voted yes. So with that being said, we have developed a new subcommittee.
Outstanding. And Conchita, would you like to give the overview, since you're going to be at Restoring
Yes.
Hope?
Yes,
Can
I
you
definitely
give an
like to
overview
give an
of
overview.
the innovation zones at the next
Yes.
meeting? Maybe we can steal a PowerPoint
Yeah,
presentation or something?
exactly. And I'm going to, because
right.
I agree, I think I've heard about the innovation zone, through conversation on a higher level. But I definitely like to get the, I guess, the documented definition, and then take that with some other additional information I can bring back to the committee.
Right, and the statute that's one of the reasons that we've had some challenges on deciding what our innovation zone is, but.
It is a statute?
Yeah, it was
Okay.
added to this, yes.
All right, so I'll look that up too.
But I think going to Restoring Hope will help you learn what other communities are doing and decide how that will fit in with our priorities here in Circuit 13.
Thank you all for the opportunity. My innovative spirit is jumping up and down.
We
right
value
now.
you.
Thank you, thank you. In the essence of time, I'm going to go ahead and go through our next item, a discussion of data or any related questions. Does anybody have any discussion on that at this particular juncture? Okay.
I just wanted to express my thanks to DJJ for pulling the data for Chrissy's committee so quickly. I know you had some hurdles to jump through. We appreciate it.
You're very much welcome. Traditionally, if we get a 30-day notice of data, that we can, effectively get that data. But in some cases, we've got to, expedite that request. So it's appreciated. With that being said, we are to have a presentation by our public defender, Marie Marino. Is she still here? There she is. I can see behind the podium, Marie. As far as the Safe and Sound Youth at Risk Committee Parent Survey.
Madam Chair, thank you for your invitation, Madam Chair Hensley and Vice Chair Parkinson. What a great meeting. It's been so engaging to sit through everything. So I just want to take 2 seconds and congratulate the awardees. I don't know Amanda, but I'm so proud of her efforts, and it's just amazing to hear what she's done in her career and how deserving she is. I do know Chrissy Dorian. I know words to describe her is boundary spanner, transformational changer, system transformations, and I just want everybody who might not know that the person she is much greater than the sum total of every one of her achievements. So Chrissy, you deserve it, and I'm so excited to have accidentally been to this meeting and saw you receive it. So I am a public defender. I worked for Julianne Holt for 32 years and now for Miss McLean, so to get an award in her name is pretty spectacular in my opinion. I am here because I was given the opportunity to go to battle one more time for a survey that was done in our community. And I say go to battle, and I feel so sorry because so many people here have heard my speech 100 times, but take solace that this is intended to be the last one. And that's why I appreciate you, Chair Hemsley, for giving me this chance. So in 2022, our community did a juvenile sequential intercept mapping. Kudos to the county for always spearheading things like that. In my short career, I have never participated in a mapping that didn't address every strategy that became part of our community's work and that have transformed the community. And I'm positive that this great mapping that we did, the best practice that it is, I know everybody's familiar with what they are, can do the exact same. I'm involved in 2 committees that took 2 strategies from that sequential intercept mapping and are still working on them today. One committee is Safe and Sound's Family Health and Wellbeing Committee. I'm a chair of that, and I'm co-chairs with this great lady, Heather Cazzola, in the Youth at Risk Committee, of which a bunch of members of this board are on that committee. The 2 strategies that we picked up were increasing parent engagement and providing a respite option in our community, to define respite and to determine what kind of respite our kids need. I listened to this entire meeting, and your meeting involves both of those things, so it just continues to demonstrate that we need to address these and we need to move forward and be successful on these outcomes. How we handled parent engagement is really why I'm here. Parent engagement became a partnership with USF. First of all, we all believe we know what parents need. We believed when we got together as a group that we need to hear directly from parents. And that's where this survey idea came from. The USF School of Medicine, Dr. Rob Bassart, partnered with us to help us create a survey to get parents information from parents to learn what they need and to improve engagement. It also included an incentive, a financial incentive. So there's $20, although Dr. Bassart suggested it might be $25 recently for a parent to fill it out. We took a year, more than a year, with the highest in most of our organizations and a lot of the stakeholders present with me today to create the questions that became that survey. And so getting into 2024, we finally put that survey out. To date, in about a year and a half of battling, getting feedback from our parents, from both the stakeholder agencies, provider agencies, and everywhere we could think of, we only have up to 90 responses. We wanted at least 300. The better the information we have, the better feedback we're going to get. Out of those 90 responses, we already have some feedback that's going to be helpful for our community. The feedback is either going to be sent out to everybody individually, so you could look at your programs, your practices, and how you engage with parents and take it into consideration, or if it telegraphs to us a community initiative, there's no better community than Hillsborough County to move forward with something. So that's why we believe it's actually very critically important. So I'm here today to tell you that this parent survey is available by a QR code and a link that I am going to send out to the chair of our committee, and with the hopes that I have inspired any of you to send it out to the parents that you deal with within your stakeholder agencies, within the provider agencies, and anywhere you serve parents in the community, so that we could get more feedback from our parents, so that we can get better outcomes to share with the community. I'm happy to answer any questions anybody would have, and I'm even happier to sit down and have a Zoom with anybody out in the community if you have particular questions. Eligibility is simple. It's 4 questions. You have to be from Hillsborough County, you have to be over 18, and you have to be penetrating in some shape or form the juvenile justice system, the dependency system, the truancy system. And so it's really just our community kids. And the 4th one is escaping me, but it's not it's something simple. So anyway, if you have questions, please reach out to me individually, because I know we're running out of time. Is there anything you wanted to add, Madam Chair?
No, but I did want to say thank you, and naturally, as our discussions have went on today, any information that I'm going to be receiving, I'm going to forward out as far as all of our CAB membership and the public.
Did you want to speak first?
How long does it take, the survey?
15 minutes, tops.
And have we tried to get every parent who picks up their student from either the JAC or the detention center to fill it out before they leave?
So members of DJJ are involved in the committee. I don't know what their specific efforts were. Like, I'm in juvenile mental health court, and even Dr. Bazart comes to my courts, and we help do the surveys with the parents face-to-face, hand-to-hand. I found that that's what's necessary. It's a struggle. And I will tell you that we are now, Dr. Bazart on his own undertook a second qualitative survey, this is considered a quantitative one, to survey why parents aren't even engaging in filling out a survey for us to learn parent engagement. So that's real. And we have the interns from USF Medical School that are going to work with getting that information, really sharing it with us, because that's how we're going to solve so many of our problems in the community of getting parent engagement, when we really learn what the barriers are.
If we had copies of those surveys in court, we could pass them out while parents are waiting. We do a lot of waiting in delinquency court. It's one of our special skills. And my team would be happy to encourage that as well, as much as we can.
And I appreciate that, because we do it in juvenile mental health court, but you're right, across the board.
I would qualify that as therapeutic justice, which you are a fan of from your history. A couple comments really quickly. First of all, thank you, and thank Heather for all the work that you've done. Mm-hmm. The sequential intercept mapping that we did, and of course that was a partnership with Department of Children and Families, was an incredible opportunity to kind of look at where some of the chinks in the armor are in our system and try and address them. Some of them we did very, very quickly. Some of them we realized were a longer-term project, and you were, so willing to grab onto that. I didn't think you believed that it would be a 3-year process. I think you hoped that it would be maybe 6 months a year. So we appreciate that longitudinal effort by your part. In terms of the actual work product and output of what you've been doing, I know that the end that you're trying to get to is 300 individuals for the survey. Not quite there yet. But I also know that you've been looking at some of the preliminary data, and it's been a little chilling for me that we're not able to get folks to step up and do the survey. But I understand some of the reasons why that we've talked about. But I also look at some of the
early takeaways. As somebody who's spent a lot of my career building systems, and to find out that families have very little trust in those systems multiple systems that we've built. But one of the very positive takeaways from the preliminary data is there is a system that parents have a fairly high degree of trust that I wouldn't have think existed, and that is law enforcement. Those surveys have indicated, and I don't know what the current data is, but the last time we met, it was around 75% had a fairly high level of trust of their law enforcement agencies that come out to their home and are the front door for that juvenile justice involvement. So as we're looking at problem solving in the future, we know that we have a trusted messenger here that the majority of families trust, and we might be able to use that to affect some of the change that we want to change longitudinally.
Excellent point. It is surprising, some of the preliminary feedback that we're getting out of it, and it's good to know as part of our programming and the things we're doing in our community to make it relevant to our parents.
Marie, how do they get paid the $20, and how long does that take effect? Is it like
When they're done, it's an anonymous survey, but when they're done, they have to give an email and they get sent a gift card.
Is it like a Visa gift card, or?
Yes. Yes, it went offline a couple of times because of fraud. I don't get that side of life at Dr. Brazard. A lot of people's friends and family who live in Georgia started filling it out, and we got, so things have happened, which has delayed it, which is why it's taking so long. But I really appreciate you giving me the opportunity to see if we could get some more feedback from this group to help one last run. We're going to keep it open another 90 days because that's where we're at.
Well, and I'd like to add that you guys are using AI to review and stratify the data, which has helped us identify some of those trends early on. And I'm not a truster or believer in AI, but some of the initial data points are pretty impressive and pretty telling. And I think, again, looking at the problem solving that we need to do, it's going to be an effective resource. So thank you.
Yep, it's fun partnering with USF. We're so lucky to have them in our backyard, whether it be the sequential intercept mapping or just partnering with us on this. So we are pretty lucky. Want to take advantage.
Well, thank you, Attorney Marino, for
Thank
your
you.
presentation today.
Thank you.
From what I understand, we have no in-person public comment. However, I do need to poise that to our virtual attendees if there's any public comment.
Yes, Jackson W. Kane, character GPS, just announcing again, we have our annual leadership luncheon on Friday, December 5th. And all of our students that are coming to our new mentoring Zoom club meetings are going to be receiving their leadership awards. And our 21 new career expert volunteers that have been mentoring will be there as well. So we're excited about the event on Friday, December 5th. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further public comment from our virtual attendees? And our final matter is that our tentative dates for 2026 are still under review. Reached out to secure this location for next year. So upon my receipt of information, if those dates are going to be applicable, I'll share accordingly with our CAB. Anything else for the good of the meeting today, Vice Chair?
I would ask that just when you do finally get response from Hillsborough County on the room availability, that you reiterate that we are going to need hybrid option for the rest for next year.
Yes, yes. And I did put that into my request this time
Okay.
around, so.
Thank you for that.
Okay. At this point,
I move to adjourn.
Second.
the meeting is adjourned at 11:39 a.m. Thank you, Madam Secretary. Thank you.